My name is Sarah, and for 15 years, I believed my marriage was the safest place in the world. My husband, Mark, ran our family hardware business with me, and our daughter Emily was our whole world. We had built something from nothing: late nights, small loans, and big dreams. I never once doubted him. I trusted him with my bank account, my secrets, my heart. But trust, I learned, is only as strong as the lies it hasn't discovered yet. And on an ordinary Saturday afternoon, everything I believed about my life quietly began to fall apart. It started with Emily, our 14-year-old daughter, looking for her bicycle pump in the garage. Mark was at the store that day, so the garage was empty except for boxes, old paint cans, and his toolbox that nobody ever touched but him. Emily moved the toolbox to reach behind it, and something slid out, a small, cracked phone wrapped in an old rag. She almost ignored it, thinking it was broken and forgotten. But curiosity, the same curiosity that runs in our family, made her pick it up and press the power button, just to see if it still worked. The phone lit up immediately, no password screen, just an old messaging app open on the home screen. Emily later told me she didn't mean to read anything. She just saw her father's name pop up in a chat labeled Anna Redheart. She thought maybe it was a coworker or an old friend joking around. But as she scrolled without thinking, message after message appeared, and her stomach turned cold. She didn't understand everything at first, but she understood enough to know this wasn't something innocent. She ran inside, phone shaking in her hand, tears already forming in her eyes. "Mom, you need to see this," she said, handing me the phone before I could even ask what was wrong. I looked down at the screen, my heart still calm, still trusting, still naive. The first message I read was dated 3 years ago. It said, "I miss falling asleep next to you." My hands went numb. I scrolled further, message after message, photo after photo, a second life hidden behind a toolbox in our own garage. My husband of 15 years had built an entire relationship with a woman named Anna, right under our roof, right under my nose. I sat on the garage floor, unable to stand, unable to breathe properly. The messages weren't just romantic, they were domestic, intimate, familiar. He asked about her day. He complained about stress at home, meaning our home, our marriage, our business. He sent her money, transfers labeled as business supplies, in our actual accounts. My mind raced back through years of late nights he claimed were work trips, weekend trainings, supplier meetings. Every excuse now had a second meaning. Every absence now had a face and a name. 15 years of trust collapsed in the time it took to read 300 messages. Emily stood beside me, unsure whether to cry or comfort me, caught between being a daughter and suddenly becoming a witness to her mother's shattered world. "Mom, is Dad going to leave us?" she asked quietly. I didn't have an answer. I didn't know if he was planning to leave, or if this was simply a secret he intended to keep forever, hidden behind hammers and paint cans. I hugged her tightly, my hands still trembling, and told her everything would be okay, even though inside, I had no idea what okay would even look like anymore. When Mark came home that evening, whistling, carrying grocery bags like nothing in the world was wrong, I placed the phone on the kitchen table without a word. His face changed the moment he saw it. The color drained from his skin, his hands froze mid-air, and the bag slipped slightly in his grip. "Where did you find that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I didn't answer his question. Instead, I asked one of my own. "Who is Anna, Mark? And how long has this been going on behind my back, in my own house?" He tried to explain, the way people always try when they're caught, stammering words about loneliness, about feeling unseen in our marriage, about how it wasn't supposed to go this far. But none of his excuses erased the timeline. 3 years. 3 years of secret calls, secret meetings, secret money transfers pulled quietly from our joint business account. 3 years of him coming home and kissing me goodnight after spending hours with another woman. I realized in that moment that the man I had shared my entire adult life with was, in many ways, a stranger wearing a familiar face. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers, accountants, and painful conversations. When I dug deeper into our business finances, the betrayal became even larger than I imagined. Mark had been slowly redirecting company funds to support Anna, sometimes disguising them as supplier payments, sometimes as equipment repairs. The business we built together, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice, had partly been funding a second life I never knew existed. Our accountant's face when she showed me the numbers told me everything before she even said a word. This wasn't just an affair. It was theft dressed as love. I filed for divorce within the month, something I never imagined myself doing, especially not at 42 years old with a teenage daughter watching every step I took. Mark tried to fight for partial ownership of the business, claiming years of labor entitled him to half, despite everything he had already taken in secret. The legal battle was exhausting, emotionally and financially, but I refused to let him walk away with more than he already stole from our family. Emily stood by me through every court date, quieter and more mature than any 14-year-old should have to be. Anna, as it turned out, had no idea Mark was married with a child. When she discovered the truth, through a mutual acquaintance who recognized his last name, she cut contact with him immediately, disgusted by what she had unknowingly been part of. It was strange, feeling almost sympathy for the woman who had been sleeping with my husband for 3 years. She was a victim of his lies too, just in a different way than Emily and I were. Mark had built 2 separate facades, 2 separate stories, and both of us had believed we were his only truth. Today, over a year later, our business is smaller but honest, rebuilt from what remained after the divorce settlement. Emily and I run it together now, and in some strange way, that broken phone she found behind a toolbox became the reason we finally built something real, without hidden rooms or secret chapters. I still remember the exact weight of that cracked phone in my hand, how something so small held the power to end 15 years of marriage in a single afternoon. Some family businesses survive betrayal. Ours did too, just not the way we ever expected it to.